Guys, listen, I know we're butting up against lunch. You've got myself, you got Robbie, and you guys are all waiting to get to eat. Graham and I have had some great conversations around the execution of strategy within our company. Thad and I met last week and talked about how we can take strategy from the defining session that we had in September, late September last year, and bring it through execution. We've always had these gaps in doing that. I want you to remember or think about two numbers. 9% of executives surveyed in a 2015 survey from the Project Management Institute classified their organizations as excellent in the execution of a corporate strategy. 53% of the initiatives that they tried to execute, they considered successful. 9% and 53%. In 2014, we entered 2015, we planned out our strategy, we defined what we wanted to do. As a company, we defined 53 initiatives, from regional heads, from vertical heads, from functional heads. We successfully executed 2. Going from 2015 into 2016, we defined 56 initiatives. We successfully executed 0. 2016 into 2017, we were in a transformation period. We went through the acquisition with KWE, so we really didn't have our normal strategy defining sessions. Going from 2017 now into 2018, and the appointment of Thad as our VP of Strategy and Management, we're going to try to get better. What I'm here to offer is some ideas of how other companies get to that 9% of excellence and at least that 53% of successfully executed strategies. And that's through the connection to the teams, the strategy defining teams, which is every one of you guys in this room, connecting them with the strategy execution teams, which are your portfolio managers, your project managers in Latin America, Asia, Europe, North America. A CPMO is not your standard PMO. Anytime I hear the word PMO, and I've been a certified project manager, Stanford certified strategy manager for PMP for 20 years now. I'm getting old. Stanford for 10 years now. I get the hairs rustled in the back of my head because PMO, the word PMO, to me means bureaucracy, it's governance, it's methodologies, it's making sure everybody's doing the exact same thing. And what I want to talk about is a CPMO that connects these execution teams with the strategy defining teams through a standard portfolio management process, making sure the regional project management teams, organizations, or regional heads, the projects that they're working on are in alignment with the strategy. Thad's job is to make sure the strategy is aligned with the vision that Bill Villalon and Graham and the other regional heads define. The PMO or the CPMO's job is to make sure we're communicating or connecting with that. So we're working on the highest priority projects. Another number I want to throw out there is $5 to $30 million. Every strategic initiative that we have on our portfolio that's not clearly defined, but that everybody sits in that room in October said, every single one of them had a value between $5 and $30 million. $5 and $30 million. And if we only execute 2, that's pretty darn good. Yes, that?
So If we're only executing 2, what is our challenge? Why aren't we executing these projects now? What's holding us back?
Historically, we walked out of that room in October, the people who owned those projects was Graham, it was Jeanette, it was the other regional heads, it was the vertical heads. They were responsible for the execution of those projects. What they didn't do, they had those programs, they had those projects that had to be executed, but they had no project management organization supporting it. Project managers are the people who actually understand scheduling, cost management, resource management, the balancing of all those things. They're the ones who continue to push things forward. To the Grahams of the world, who owns a $20 million revenue, with an M&A through a transload company. We want to buy TRICAP. We've been trying to buy them for years. If he's successful in doing that, then he's just added $20 million extra dollars to it. What I'm suggesting is a project management organization executes that and feeds into Graham. Jeanette is trying to roll out some business intelligence information to Toys R Us. If we can go ahead and execute that business intelligence tools to Toys R Us, then Jeanette adds another X amount. I think that one's worth maybe 5 or 6 million. It's not a ton, but it brings more product in through our network. So CPMO, the intent of a CPMO is to drive revenue growth within APL Logistics. Not necessarily just the revenue growth, but the increase in EBIT. Yes?
So they're still working with the PMOs? Are we still keeping the PMO alive?
Yes.
Okay.
Every region, when you look at Asia right now, the question is, what PMO do we have, or are we maintaining the PMOs that we do have? I have the North America PMO. There's a PMO in Asia, there's a PMO in Europe, and there's a PMO in Latin America. We have all these PMOs, and they don't filter anything up to the strategic office, which is owned by THAAD. Bill's job is defining that vision, what we're going to do there, and THAAD's job is to align it and to make sure what we're working on is feeding that. We have to rely on those PMOs, those regional PMOs, in order to execute these strategies.
So the CMO is pretty much cutting up the pie in equal areas and dividing up that money. Is that what you're?
Well, the purpose of the PMO, that's
No, the CMO.
the CPMO
CPMO.
is to filter those projects that the regions have. If Graham decides to go off and buy a building, we build it and they will come strategy, the PMO is to filter that up through the strategy office and to say, is this really what we're trying to accomplish? And that allows the Bill Villalons of the world to kind of look at that and say, yes, that's what we want to do, or we'll kill it right now and we'll have that, Bill will have that conversation with Graham on why we're not going to build it, and they will come strategy. The concerns that I have around PMOs also is just the level of bureaucracy that they normally apply, and will they stop the entrepreneurial culture that we want our regions to have. THAAD built business intelligence, visual analytics with Nike because it was a grassroots, go out there, figure it out, do. The CPMO doesn't want to stop that. We want to support it. We want to make sure if that's something that comes onto our strategy at the last minute or comes out of nowhere, let's change our strategy. Let's maintain a flexibility in our strategy so we don't have to keep marching to the drum that we built in October throughout the entire year.
How are you
Michelle?
going to staff?
Jeanette?
Jeanette, how are you going to staff the CPMO office?
The C-
Internally, externally, how are you going to do that?
Yeah, that's a biggest concern most people have is, are we going to build another high-cost,
More
bureaucratic, functional area at another $10 million? When I came to APL Logistics 12 years ago, we had a PMO. All I saw was high-dollar resources. I saw 3 directors. You take your existing operations, your existing PMOs, You evaluate your project management, portfolio management skill set, and you just add the extra level of work
And you're
to
building
it.
on that historical knowledge.
Bill?
So going back to that point, Jerry, you raised that you saw directors, high dollars, so we've had this before. What makes this any more different, and how can you guarantee that I won't see a bottleneck like I did before?
That was a IT governance PMO. Again, the question, how is this gonna be different than what we did before? The PMO that you saw 10 years ago, that I saw when I came to the company, they were all about governance and methodologies and making sure things, Gantt charts were correct, project managers were PMP certified, costs were reporting on earned value, all of the project management technical stuff. The CPMO is at a higher level, trying to bring together all of the work that's being done at the regions and of the verticals and of the, all the functional heads like Jeanette, and making sure they're being raised to the highest level. I'm really running out of time, guys. I gotta move on. I know, Thad, you have a question?
So would the CPMO report into me then? Because doesn't this sound a little bit like my job as the VP of strategic? Would they come to
So
me?
the question is around structuring, and what I want to end this with, you guys, here's my recommendation of what we do. I want you to go ahead and consider a CPMO, which is really just the connection between strategy defining and execution. I want you to take a look at your project management, portfolio management expertise within the APL Logistics Network and decide that structure on where it best fits. I do have an opinion on that, and Thad, you and I can sit down next week and talk about it. The last thing I want you to do is go ahead and test it. See if it works, and once it works, apply change. Thank you very much, guys.
Good job, Jerry. Thank you, Jerry. Fantastic. Love that.
Technology is simple.
Yeah, there you go. What'd you like? What did he do well?
Got away from the PowerPoint.
Okay,
You know, it
so
brings it a little more personal.
made it very personal, very real life, especially with the identified characters. I felt like I was in a real life meeting of your team. Yes, Cornell?
Oh, yeah, and without the PowerPoint, more focus was on you, and you're very engaging, upbeat, enthusiastic, walked around, hand gestures, and so we had everyone's attention.
Jerry has great ethos, right? He commands the attention of the audience through his style. He is a clear professional, he's knowledgeable, he shared his expertise with us, certified by Stanford and this and that and the other thing. He just knows what he's talking about. So we want to listen to him. We think that he's going to know the answer, the solution, the recommendation. What else,
I felt
Brian?
like I was sold on his presentation because he knows his stuff, and his recommendation made sense, and he kind of tied everything together and answered everyone's questions concisely, which made me believe, okay, I want to follow this guy. He knows what he's doing.
And I loved your receiving questions throughout. It did challenge you on time. However, it is very real life.
It's representative of my audience.
You bet.
They wouldn't raise their hand, they would just,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was gonna say that would have been like an APL meeting, but very good use of data and cost as well to appeal to people in terms of dollars, especially knowing your audience and then tying it back and pointing to say, so this person and that person, really good way to use data.
Excellent. Thank you. Yes, Robert?
I noticed you made great eye contact with almost everybody, so great job.
Awesome. Thank you.
You
Yes,
said right
Michelle?
away up front, execution of a corporate strategy. So it just calibrated, this is where we're going. It's a corporate strategy, and you followed pretty quickly with, increasing revenue. So you knew right away what this is after.
Awesome. Thank you. Last comment, Ann?
I like the history and examples you've shared to build up that we need to get this done.
2015, 53 initiatives, 2 were accomplished. 2016, 56, and 0. Boy, that tells you a lot right there. Okay, outstanding. Great job. Jerry, suggestions for change. What could you do differently next time, Brian?
I don't know if it was me, but I just felt that I needed a clearer agenda, as to what we were going to go over and what the conclusion was going to be. Because I feel like he kind of just right went into his subject matter without really giving me a clear understanding of what we were going to cover.
It's kind of a weakness tonight.
Don't share that with us. Brian, good point. So that overview of kind of what you hope to accomplish during these 12 minutes together. Chris, what else?
So I think that the presentation was framed around execution. Hammer home that 2% and that 0%. I think some either a visual or we're not getting the job done, I think needed to be highlighted even more.
Excellent, thank you.
I didn't understand the flow chart. I mean, I see bubbles, maybe my eyes are tiny, whatever, or I can't see.
You and me, Chris.
But-
I have it on a bigger
Okay,
PowerPoint.
no need to respond, thank you. Your point is?
Well, my point is, if you're saying there's something wrong with the flow of the organization, tell me what it should be. Because, I don't know what's coming from what angle. And the initiatives, all these 56 to 60, like who's responsible for that? Like, is that my fault as Graham? Was that your fault for putting 60 different great ideas that nobody can handle that many topics? So like, how much time are you spending on those different things? I didn't quite get the layout of the framework overall. That was my concern.
Thank you very much, good feedback. Yes.
So you're the expert, and along with the people that you're talking directly to, and so like a lot of the jargon, I would assume in your own, native environment that they would understand you.
Yeah.
But perhaps like maybe just define the jargon once for those that are maybe new to the team or just not really familiar with it. Because I was very much lost when you got into like the whole like
CPMO.
Yeah, so the point is well taken. Remember, these presentations are all about audience. Of course, we have our fictitious audience, but we also are delivering a class presentation. So although in the real life situation, you wouldn't define CPMO, for purposes of this type of presentation, it's valuable so that your audience can follow along. Okay, lastly from me, I didn't hear any opposition. Why shouldn't we do this? So I want to show the complexity of the argument by being able to say, we've also considered other options, or we also know that there are risks with doing this, there will need to be change, blah, 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 but we can address those in these ways, okay? So give us that opposition, build it right into your argument so it just adds to your credibility that much more. But Jerry, like we all said, you are kind of the epitome of a man who knows his stuff. You're in charge and large and strong and confident. Large and in charge. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Big personality, strong convictions. We want that. I'm saying to some of my colleagues here today, we need more of you. We need you to be larger, stronger, more vocal. So take advantage of that. That is a huge strength of yours. Continue to build upon it.
And I'm glad I didn't use the PowerPoint because I have opposition.
Ah, that's why I didn't do it. Okay, good job.